Yeah.
So let me hear your version of how you're going to deal with being a member of the Lumumba family, which has many admirers and has a few haters. How politics is a contact sport. So they, as Danielle said, they say ugly things, and they sometimes get out of place in terms of when you deal with family and children and parents. Things get out of whack. And so how do you plan on handling that, Rukia?
The same way I've been handling it all my life. And thank you, Danielle, for that. My father has always been a revolutionary. And the Lumumba name always was a name that wasn't necessarily trusted in every space that we went in. And when I say trusted, meaning that it wasn't one that people felt comfortable around necessarily. Because often it meant that we were coming in and we were going to push a little harder for rights that we thought our people deserved. And when I say our people, I mean black people, but I mean all people. Because we believe and have always believed that when you help folks who are most oppressed, then you help everyone. Because the policies shift for everyone, right? And so I've always been a Lumumba. Growing up, before we moved to Jackson in 1989, we were living in New York. My father was representing Dr. Mutulu Shakur, Tupac Shakur's stepfather. He was representing him on what we would call today terrorist charges. Back then they were called RICO charges or things of that nature, right? And but they were terrorist charges. He was being charged as a terrorist, right, for being a part of the Black Liberation Front. Him and a white woman who I love dearly, Marilyn Buck. As a child, I would watch them in the courtroom. Two people who I knew to be the best humans that I had ever known at that time. As a young child, 2nd grade, my mother would bring my class to the court hearing so that I could see and we can listen to what was happening and learn. I remember seeing the judge's face, just bulging red face, getting upset every time my father, Chokwe Lumumba, and his co-counsel, Sophia Elijah, who's actually an amazing criminal justice attorney right now and leader, doing work to represent their clients. And I remember times of being on trains headed home with my father. And because it was such a big case, it was on the news all the time, right? And I would see people spit at him. White people spit at him, right? So I've always been a Lumumba. I've always had to navigate not knowing when I walk into the room whether I'm going to be liked or whether I'm going to be disliked. That hasn't changed. When we moved to Mississippi, we weren't immediately embraced. It took a very long time for folks to really get comfortable with the idea of actually creating self-determined communities. Communities that actually could take care of themselves. Actually bringing community members into the fold of governance where they were making decisions, where they had an opportunity to just understand what was going on.